Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
How are you all today?
Fine, thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, we are going to get started today with Dragon Naturally Speaking. We're going to go over the creation of your user profiles, and we're going to get ready to start dictating in Transcriptionist with Realtime Coach. And so this is going to be a very important class because you're going to be doing a lot of this from here on out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch to the transcriptionist screen here. You all see my transcriptionist screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the new button, which is the very first button that you see on the top of the transcriptionist screen. What we're seeing is kind of a new job screen. And on the new job screen, I'm going to just type in Realtime Coach.
Somebody breathing in the mic.
Yeah, you guys, if you can hear somebody breathing, you just need to move the mouthpiece further away from your mouth if you're wearing a headset. Okay, so now that I've typed in Realtime Coach Dictation, and I'm going to click Apply and OK. Now, I am ready to go in and do a dictation. But before we do that, we have to have a Dragon user profile. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly create a Dragon user profile for you. So I'm going to close Transcriptionist, and I'm going to go directly to Dragon Naturally Speaking. My dragon's a little different from yours, but I'm going to go to, let's see. Okay, new user profile. So I'm going to just call this mask. And I'll click on next. And I am just going to go with the United States user. And then I have to select what
And
device I want to dictate with my
here,
mask.
when you're tapping. Yeah.
And I'm going to use the exact same one that you all are using, which is the AndreaCom USB SA headset. Next. And then here it's just telling you if you're using a headset that you need the microphone approximately 3 inches, approximately 3 fingers from your mouth for best recognition. It shouldn't be all the way in your mouth. That's when you're going to get those breaths. And then I'm very simply going to pick up my mask and I'm going to do what I see. Here I go. There we go. That done. I'll let the little progress bar complete. Now, to help us improve Dragon Box, I'm going to click on Next and Finish. And then it's going to go into a tutorial, which I'm just going to skip. I'm going to go to import a list of words or phrases. And I'm going to click on Preview the list of unknown words. And I'm going to click on Next. I'm going to click on Add File. And I'm going to go to my C drive and look for top files, marker files, and bulk lists. And you can select the basic marker file and click on Open. And then Next. And it will process it. Next. And then you just hit Check All. And Next. And then Check All. And and this is going to come up, and I'm basically going to say what I see in the uppermost box here one time, and then it's going to immediately switch to the next. It comes very quickly, so you have to be prepared. So I'm going to just run through these very quickly. If you are traveling this road with me, please train your markers as well. Ladies, what's going on? Are you guys having problems creating your
Adria.
or adding markers? Ladies, is anyone having trouble creating their dragon user?
Yes, I am having problems.
Wendy, is that you that are,
So
you're,
Sabrina,
and what kind of trouble are you having?
this profile, I don't know if I'm supposed to use my screen because
I'm sorry, would you say that again?
I said no. I know you said don't use the mouse while at the same time you using it on the screen.
Oh, you're seeing
Your screen.
the class instead
Yeah.
of your own screen.
Yeah.
Okay, you can exit full screen mode and make the screen that I'm on smaller.
Okay.
You're looking at screen control.
All right. Yeah. Yes, I am.
Does that maybe help you out? Are you able to make it smaller?
Yes, I made it smaller.
Okay, so now can you go into Dragon?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
great.
Adria,
Yes.
I have a question, right? When I was setting up the user profile, the initial user profile, I got the training, the words, SPI1, Tran1, Tran2 to Tran10,
Yes.
and QMark for questions and for answers, right? I didn't come across like SPI20 and like these additional
That's
stuff
okay.
that
That's okay. You don't need the additional ones.
okay.
You only need your speakers, at least 1 to 10,
Uh-huh.
your question and answer markers.
Right.
Um, that's really right now.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So once you have these trained and you hit save, it'll process and you can just and finish and it'll tell you how to do it and you've trained them. The next thing that we generally want to do, go to our options and make sure that they're set correctly. And this is really important. So you have to turn on the commands tab. We need to turn all of them off, deselect all of them. My appearances is different than yours. But as long as you went through all of the ones that are in the Dragon course, and I'll switch over to, okay, so here, seeing the Dragon screen, I want to go over the options with you because it's very important. Before I go over your options, I just want to go over the deleting the Dragon commands. It's very important that you do this. And what you're going to do is from the Dragon bar, if you click on vocabulary, then open vocabulary editor. And then at the drop down at the bottom where it says display, choose words with spoken forms only. And then you should delete all of these commands that you see. This is really important. So please make sure you've done that. And then back at Dragon, I'm going to go and look at your options, which should be a part of creating the new user. Here we go. This is where you start with your Dragon options. And what you want to do is follow these instructions exactly. I strongly suggest that while you're going through the course, that you actually print out these instructions and keep them in a binder for yourself later. Because you will need to create a new Dragon user every once in a while. it's important that you have the instructions to be able to do that, because they're very easy to follow. If you have no trouble following these instructions, all you have to do is look at the pictures and follow the instructions and make sure that your options are set correctly. There's a very good question. How much of the Dragon course should you have completed in preparation for today's course? You definitely have at least created your new user by today. I know that a lot of you have not done that. You have got to get this done immediately, and you need to have a Dragon user in order to be able to dictate. So if you do not have a Dragon user, you're going to need to catch up, because I'm going to move on to showing you how to actually use Transcriptionist and Realtime Coach to start dictating. You have a long way to go in your dictation, so it's crucial that you get started. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and show you how to dictate in Transcriptionist with Dragon. Okay. So I'm going to bring Transcriptionist back up, and I've already created my new job by going to the new job button, and here's the job I've created. So with my arrow, my little black arrow into this job, I'm going to click on dictate, and it comes up with a little box. Make sure that you're seeing this. Yeah, you are. That says scope loads the speech engine. We must check this box off so that the speech engine is loaded. The speech engine is Dragon, and if we don't have it loaded, we can't dictate. So we always have to have that checked. We click on OK. And here's my transcriptionist window. I'm waiting for Dragon to load. It's always going to come up and give me a box asking to load it. For some reason it's not loading. Oh, there it is. There it says initialization is ongoing. Please wait. We can't turn on the mic until that's done. Okay, it says topic ready at the bottom. So now I can get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my other screen. I'm going to show you that I'm now at Realtime Coach. Now, I just want to mention that if you had the incorrect link to Realtime Coach, so it must be this link to Realtime Coach, and I'm going to send that in Skype again for you, just to let you know that this is the one that should be bookmarked. And so you should make sure that that's bookmarked in your browser. And then when you go there, you'll be able to log in. And then I'm going to click on play. And I'm going to click on Transcriptionist. And it's going to bring me to all of my numbers. And I'm going to start, all of you should be starting on slow. And so I'm going to pick one that is slow. And I want it to load. So it's at a ready position. And now you can see that I'm ready. Over here on the right, what you can see is that they're giving you some words that they're going to be using in this dictation. So if you'd like, you can go ahead and try those words before you start your dictation. So I'm going to show you how I would do that. My dictation screen here. And I would turn on my microphone by clicking once. And I'm just going to say these words that are on the other screen. You can also put in Mr. President. You see how Mr. President came out abbreviated? I don't really ever want that. So I can actually make a real-time rule. So if I go to edit and real-time rules and add real-time rules, I could say PRES, period, replace it with PRESIDENT. Add rule. And now, if I say Mr. President, it can come out Mr. President, not Mr. Prez. Federal parent did not come up. So I could say federal parent like this. It saves it. And I can always use Tran2 when that comes up. PLS did not come up, so I can use a translate for that. That's how we use the untranslate fields. If we say a word or a phrase, you can have up to 255 characters in each untranslate field. So if there's a word or a phrase that keeps coming up, but it's coming up wrong, you can put that word or phrase in the untranslates box. And instead of saying the word or phrase when you hear it, you just say Tran1 for parental act, federal payment. You can say Tran2 for federal payment, Tran3 for FPLS. So that's just an example of one of the powers of the program. So what I'm going to do now, I'm ready to do my dictation. So I'm going to click on the microphone. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on Dictate to Active Window. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that my text can actually appear in the Real-Time Coach window. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you this. Sometimes Zoom doesn't like it. I'm going to give it a try. So I'm going to click on microphone, window. I'm going to come over to the other side and hit start.
Ready? Begin. The members of this body can take a significant step toward averting this huge loss by moving as rapidly as possible to enact the correct kidnapping prevention act. There is a legitimate national interest in ensuring that the custody of a human child determined by a court of law and not by the force and guile of a kidnapper. The act would ensure that custody and visitation decrees will be enforceable in every state, and this is an essential requirement if we are to remain a society of law and not of men. Unfortunately, Mr. President, extraterritorial validity is only part of the solution. Unless this committee also creates realistic mechanisms to enforce custodial decrees, it will have little impact on the child napping problem. Today, a custodial order is little more than a right without remedy, even in those states that have adopted the uniform law. Because child napping is not a crime, victim parents cannot enlist the assistance of federal law enforcement officials in locating and reclaiming victim children. Instead, they must rely on private attorneys and private detectives, and their ability to enforce the basic right of custody is entirely a function of their personal financial resources. The parents I have met over the past 12 months have invested sums ranging from a minimum of $9,000 to well over $400,000 in the frequently unsuccessful effort to recover their kidnapped children. This is a terrible price, even for those who can raise the money. For those who cannot, the rights conferred by decrees of custody are illusory. Mr. President, there are few rights more basic than the right to the custody of a child, and we cannot tolerate a system that makes that right contingent on personal wealth. This act contains two mechanisms to remedy that inequity, and I hope this body will give serious consideration to both. First, it makes the services of the Federal Parent Locator Service available to any parent seeking to locate a victim child. The FPLS has been used effectively in locating parents who default on child support decrees. To use the service for this purpose, but deny its use if the child is kidnapped, makes no sense whatsoever. Broadening access to the service can minimize the need to ensure massive legal and investigation fees in locating a missing child. Second, the bill makes it a federal misdemeanor to conceal or abduct a child in violation of a custody order. This enables the FBI to assist in locating and returning a kidnapped child, a service for which there is no charge, and one that is equally available to all citizens, regardless of their personal wealth. It also provides a significant deterrent against commission of the abduction itself, one of the principal weaknesses of the present system is its utter lack of sanctions against a parent who abducts a child. Even in some states that have adopted the Uniform Act, the worst fate that can befall a law-breaking parent is a court order requiring him, her to return the child. If anything, this is an incentive to attempt abductions. At worst, the non-custodial parent will have the same situation they occupied before the abduction attempt: lack of custody.
Okay. It is still translating my voice. And so I've put my mask face down on my desk so that it is not still listening to me. And I'm going to allow it to finish doing its translation. I missed a good bit in the beginning because my cursor wasn't in the real-time coach window, because I was trying to mute you guys and wasn't paying attention to where my cursor was. So My recognition should not be very great because I missed a whole section, but we'll see. And the reason it's taking so long to translate for me is because I'm running Zoom and I'm running all of these other programs. So normally it doesn't take this long to translate, and it shouldn't take this long to translate for any of you either. It's only slow right now because of all the programs I'm running. Okay, I deleted all of the extra text that showed up while I was talking to you guys, and I've turned off the microphone in the transcriptionist window as well. And now I'm going to click on check transcript, and then it's going to come up and tell me how well I did. And for all that I missed, I did pretty good. I got 80% on it. You guys are going to need to get 80% on 10 dictations at one speed before you can move to the next speed. So it's really important that you get busy and start dictating. Pardon me. So once you've dictated, you can close out of the Real-Time Coach window. So I'm going to go back to my list. And you'll see that every time I do a dictation, it shows me a little wheel. And it tells me how I've done on that dictation. So it's tracking your stuff for you. You can look at, as you go, the different speeds that you do and how you do at those speeds. I think that I started maybe at 130 or 140. I guess I started it. I did a few in the beginning, a few of the super slow ones, and then I moved on to the faster ones. So you need to, again, I want you to gain 80% accuracy on all of your possible dictations here before you move to the next dictation. So even if you have to do it more than once, that's what I want you to do. After your dictation is done, I'm going to show you what your transcriptionist window looks like. So here's your transcriptionist window with all of the text. Okay, so I see a few of you, I'm checking the chat, and I'm seeing that a few of you are getting an error, a problem opening scope. So let's go and address that. Okay, I'm going to close out of my screen real quick, choosing yes to save the voice data so that I can come back to it in a minute. And what I'm going to ask you all to do, those of you who are having the message, there was an error loading scope. What I want you to do is I want you to go to the Windows Start button, and I want you to look for the VLC. And I want you to open up the VLC. You'll see it under Video LAN. VLC Media Player. Open that up for me. It might even be an icon on your desktop. It looks like a little traffic cone. And once it's open, go to Help and About. Is anyone having trouble finding the VLC? I unmuted you, so if anybody can speak to me, you can. Okay, if you don't have VLC on your system, that's the problem. So I want you to go to the File Explorer. If you right-click on the Start button, you should be able to click on the File Explorer. Okay, so File Explorer, if you, on the left-hand side, I'm sorry, someone say something? Are you able to find your File Explorer?
Yes.
Okay, great. If you click on Local Disk C, and you should see Audio Scribe on the right.
Yes.
Yes.
Double click on that, please. And then scroll all the way to the bottom of that screen. You're looking for VLC 2.15
5
Win 32. I would like
Yes.
you to please double click on that. It should come up and say, welcome to the VLC Media Player Setup Wizard. Yes.
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 Click on next. And if it may or may not say VLC 2.1.5 is already installed, select the operation you want to perform and click next to continue. Yours may say that you have a newer version. Is that what anyone says?
No, it's not installed at all.
No? And finish. And you should be done. Now, before we are done with this installation, we need to go to Tools and click on Preferences. Now, you should see it says Interface Settings at the top. Go
Yes.
down to where it says Privacy Network Interaction. Do you see that?
Yes.
Make sure that Active Updates Notifier is not checked. Remove that check. So there's no check on Active Updates Notifier. And click on Save. And then you can close out of the VLC Media Player. And so now, let's try it again, okay? Everyone, please go and open your Transcriptionist program. And we're going to click on the first button under the word File. It's a little dog-eared piece of paper. Screen. And you can just type in RTC for real-time coach. Then you can type in first dictation, second if it's your second, whatever. God bless you, Alicia. I'm sneezing today too. Okay, and we're gonna click on apply and okay.
Styles staying as TNT Civil Matter High Court.
Yeah, it doesn't matter right now what style you select.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about styles later. Right now, you can just select any style. The first guys have many styles. Any one will do. Go into the dictate screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the microphone to the dictate screen. Okay? And we're going to make sure that the little box, check in it, scope loads speech engine. Okay? And once that box has a check, we're going to click on and you should see exactly what I'm seeing. Opening speech engine, please wait at the bottom in the green status bar. If anybody's having a problem, please let me know.
Adria, I'm having a problem.
Okay, Tracy, what's up?
I don't have the green bar.
Oh, you don't have the green bar? Does it say topic ready?
No.
Okay, what did it say?
There's an issue with my scope.
Oh, okay, so it opened, but it didn't give you the green bar. Did you make sure that there was a check? It scope loads the speech engine?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Yes, there was.
Would you all like to try this yourselves? Okay, this is a lot of fun, really. No stress. Just don't worry about getting every single word. Just repeat what you can. So I'm going to close out of Transcriptionist and I'm going to start from the beginning. You do not have to create another job. I'm just going to start from the top and go through it, okay? So the process is that we click on New, the new button at the top. And then it's going to bring up the new job screen. And I type a note for this job, whatever. Doesn't matter about the style right now. We're not going to acquire audio yet. We're going to use Realtime Coach. So we just do apply and okay. That'll take us back to the main menu. And you'll notice that there's a small black right-facing arrow next to this new job that I just created. So all I'm going to do now is click on the dictate button, which looks like a microphone. And it's going to bring up, should scope load the speech engine, ? We do absolutely want the speech engine. So let's put a check in that box and click on OK. That's going to bring up my dictation window. And pretty quickly after the dictation window appears, you should see at the very bottom of the screen a green bar saying opening speech engine, please wait. Now, while we're waiting for this to come up, I'm going to just show you a few things that are kind of neat. In Realtime Coach, you guys probably only are using one screen. I'm using two, and that makes it a little easier. But if you're only using one screen, you don't absolutely have to view your speakers and your untranslates. So that will give you some more real estate. So there is a button up here. Oh, by the way, if your user profile comes up, click on it and click on open so that it can load. And if you'll look underneath, it looks like it's between hotkeys and index. there's a button with a little person with a call out. And when you point to it, it says hide speakers and untranslates. And if you do that, they just disappear. You see what I'm doing? And then I can just take my screen and drag it more to the right. That way it's a little smaller. What I'm going to try to do is get my real-time coach screen on the left. So let me move that and make it a little bit smaller. It's kind of a pain sometimes to resize screens, but it can be very helpful so that you can see both at the same time. So are you guys seeing my screen the way I have it both set up? And so now I don't see the open for a dictate to active window button anymore. And I'm gonna need that. But I want you to see right here on the edge, you see these drop downs? If you click on that second drop down, you'll see your dictate to active window button, right? So I have my dictate window on the right, and on the left-hand side, I've brought up my browser. I have my real-time coach window. I'm logged in, and I've gone to play, and I've gone to slow. And so I think I'm gonna go back to this one I just did because it was nice and slow. It was pretty easy. So I'm gonna try to do that one again. So if I click on the right facing arrow, it's gonna bring up that video for me. And there it is. Sure doesn't like me resizing it too much. The dictation window can be really small for now, the transcriptionist window, because we're not going to be using it during our dictation. We're only going to be looking at real-time coach, so we can make it pretty small. So once we've done that and we've got it looking the way we want, we're going to turn the microphone on in Transcriptionist by clicking on that black mic. And then we're going to come over here, click on the drop down and click on Dictate to Active Window, which is this little icon here. And then I'm going to come over here to my real-time coach window. And I'm going to click on the right facing white arrow to start the dictation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in my headset so I can hear it better. And I'm going to click on the arrow and I'm going to listen and I'm going to repeat what she says into my mask. So let's do this together. Remember, you don't have to be super loud. Just say what you hear.